The Rise of AI, How Artificial Intelligence Will Transform Humanity Forever. Chapter 1. Origins, From Rules to Learning. Once, intelligent machines were nothing but brittle lists of if-then rules. They could sort taxes and play checkers, but they couldn't learn. Then came a simple idea with revolutionary consequences. Let the machine learn the rules from data. In the late 20th century, neural networks resurfaced, and by the 2010s, deep learning exploded. Image classifiers began to outperform humans on benchmark tasks. Speech recognition leapt forward. Translation crossed language barriers we thought would take decades. The killer catalyst arrived in 2017, the transformer, a neural architecture that uses self-attention to weigh relationships across an entire sequence at once. It discarded recurrence and convolutions, enabling massive parallelism and far better context handling. This is the engine that powers today's large language models. At the same time, researchers discovered scaling laws, empirical relationships showing how model performance improves predictably as we scale data, parameters, and compute. With enough data and compute, general capabilities emerged that were not explicitly programmed. These two ingredients, attention and scale, unlocked versatile systems that can read, write, translate, reason over text and code, and even interface with tools. AI stopped being a narrow point solution and became a general interface to knowledge and action. Chapter 2. Milestones that Changed Minds. Breakthroughs arrived one after another. In 2016, AlphaGo defeated world champion Lee Sedol with moves experts called creative, challenging our intuitions about strategy and invention. Then came AlphaFold 2, which predicted 3D protein structures from amino acid sequences with astonishing accuracy, so impactful that Nature named it Method of the Year. This accelerated structural biology and opened new paths for drug discovery. These wins weren't just party tricks. They signaled a pattern. As models generalized, they began mapping domains of reality, games, language, biology, into spaces where search and optimization became tractable. Chapter 3. The Compute Boom. None of this is free. Training frontier models demands specialized chips and high-bandwidth networks. In 2024, NVIDIA unveiled the Grace Blackwell GB200 platform, superchips linking GPUs and CPUs over ultra-fast NVLink, with data center fabrics pushing up to 800 gigabits per second. This hardware is the scaffolding of today's AI factories. Why it matters? Compute is the fuel. More compute plus smarter training, like data curation, alignment, and retrieval, equals models that understand context better, hallucinate less, and act more reliably. The race now is not only bigger models but better trained ones, compute efficient, energy aware, and tuned for real tasks. Chapter 3. The Compute Boom. None of this is free. Training frontier models demands specialized chips and high-bandwidth networks. In 2024, NVIDIA unveiled the Grace Blackwell GB200 platform, superchips linking GPUs and CPUs over ultra-fast NVLink, with data center fabrics pushing up to 800 gigabits per second. This hardware is the scaffolding of today's AI factories. Why it matters? Compute is the fuel. More compute plus smarter training, like data curation, alignment, and retrieval, equals models that understand context better, hallucinate less, and act more reliably. The race now is not only bigger models but better trained ones, compute efficient, energy aware, and tuned for real tasks. Chapter 5. Transforming Industries. Healthcare. Models summarize medical notes, draft discharge instructions, and triage messages. Global health bodies now publish ethics and governance guidance for large multimodal models in clinical contexts, emphasizing equity, safety, and accountability. Breakthrough Watch. In 2025, European researchers announced Delphi 2M, predicting susceptibility to 1,000-plus diseases decades ahead using generative AI trained on large health registries, validated across countries. It's early, but it signals population-scale preventive medicine. Financial Times Science and Biotech. Following AlphaFold 2, labs use AI to design proteins, explore enzymes, and accelerate hypothesis generation, compressing timelines from months to days. Nature. +1 Education. From personalized tutors to automated feedback loops, AI can scale one-on-one coaching if we address bias, privacy, and over-reliance. Law and Finance. Document review, compliance checks, risk modeling, and scenario analysis, all faster with audit trails and human oversight. Creative work. Writers, musicians, filmmakers use AI for drafting and ideation. The winning strategy is Centaur creativity, human taste plus machine exploration. Chapter 6. Risks. Bias, hallucinations, security, and labor. Bias and fairness. Models learn patterns, including historical inequities, unless actively mitigated. Hallucinations. When models overconfidently output wrong facts, the cost can be legal or medical. Security and misuse. Prompt injection, data exfiltration, and deep fakes fuel fraud and disinformation. Labor impacts. Routine cognitive tasks may be automated. Net effects depend on policy, retraining, and new job creation. Nations are responding. The U.S. Executive Order 14,110, October 30, 2023, tasked agencies with standards for safety testing, watermarking, and critical infrastructure risks. NIST followed with the AI Risk Management Framework and launched the AI Safety Institute and Consortium in 2024. In Europe, the EU AI Act establishes risk-based rules, stricter for high-risk uses, bans for unacceptable risks, transparency requirements, and a phased rollout. In 2025, Italy went further with national law aligning to the act, strict measures on harmful deep fakes, workplace safeguards, parental consent for minors, and funding to spur responsible innovation. Chapter 7. The Next Interface. Agents and Tool Use. The frontier is AI agents, systems that plan steps, call tools, browse, write code, and loop until objectives are met. Think of them as operating systems for goals. In enterprises, agents will watch dashboards, trigger remediation, and prepare reports before meetings start. At home, they'll manage inboxes, bills, travel, and schedules with your permissions and logs. Safety here is non-negotiable. Sandboxing, least privilege access, red teaming, provenance and watermarking, and human-in-the-loop review. Policy frameworks, EO 14110, NIST-ARMEF, EU AI Act, push industry toward auditable practices. Chapter 8. Global Competition, Compute, and Energy, Break. AI capability clusters where compute, data, and talent converge. Data center design now optimizes power density, cooling, and network topology. Blackwell-class systems and rack-scale designs tie tens of CPUs and GPUs with ultra-fast fabrics. Efficiency, better algorithms, sparse computation, distillation matters as much as raw power. Expect hybrid AI. Frontier models for general reasoning, smaller edge models for privacy and latency, and domain specialists trained on curated datasets. Nations will treat AI infrastructure like strategic utilities, balancing innovation with sustainability. Chapter 9. AI and Society. Culture, Rights, and the social contract. As AI rewires workflows, we must renegotiate rights and responsibilities, privacy and data provenance. Who owns your exhaust, emails, clicks, biometrics? Attribution and IP. Many jurisdictions are clarifying that human-directed AI-assisted works may receive protection. Purely automated outputs often do not, and text/data mining may face restrictions. Italy's 2025 law is one notable example in the EU landscape. The Guardian. Education. AI as calculator moment for cognition. Literacy now includes prompt craft, verification, and model of mind awareness. Democracy and information integrity. Guardrails against synthetic media abuse. Verification, provenance, penalties for harmful deepfakes are becoming law in parts of the EU. The question isn't, will AI replace us? It's how we combine human judgment, empathy, and embodied experience with machine scale and recall. The winners will be teams, people plus systems, organized around outcomes, not outputs. Chapter 10. Futures. Paths we can choose. 3. Trajectories. 1. Assistive abundance. AI handles rote tasks. Humans focus on creativity, care, and complex judgment. Healthcare shifts from sick care to predict and prevent, guided by population-scale models like Delphi 2M and successors, deployed with ethics and equity. Financial Times 2. Chaos by default. Misinformation, cyber risk, and unequal access widen divides. Regulation lags. Trust collapses. 3rd. Aligned acceleration. Safety standards, evaluations, and international coordination keep systems interpretable, testable, and accountable, while open science and responsible commercialization spread benefits. The future is not something that happens to us. It's something we build, with code, with policy, with values. Artificial intelligence is a mirror. It reflects our data, our choices, and our courage to aim higher. If we align it with human flourishing, the rise of AI won't be an end to our story. It will be the chapter where we learn to think with our tools and use them to solve problems once thought unsolvable.